we're Paul and Natasha from Nomadic-AF. Today this is your ultimate guide for house and pet sitting. House and pet sitting is really fun and it could be a great idea for a lot of people, but there's also some pitfalls that you might not know about.
Right. We've been house and pet sitting internationally for 13 years now. I mean, we have sat
A long time.
many different sits, many different locations.
In 2022, we did 19 sits in 6 months.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that is insane. But we know what we're talking about. And I should mention up front, we've never joined any platform.
No.
Never once have we been a part of any house sitting platform.
Yeah, they're expensive and we'll get into all
that later. But we will show you a little later exactly how we get every single house and pet sit that we want to get.
Yeah.
And it's never failed.
It's never failed. You can do it too.
Yeah, easy. It is much easier than joining platforms. So we'll get into that later. But what you're going to learn is kind of what your responsibilities are as a house sitter.
Yeah, what you can expect and what is expected of you as well.
Right. And there are pitfalls you want to look out for when you're talking to somebody, when you're being interviewed for a pet sit. There'll be these little
red
flags that pop up. And it's just not worth it.
Yeah.
If you get a red flag in 10 minutes of talking to somebody, wait till you're at their house for 3 months.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So what we're going to cover here is international, long-term house and pet sitting.
We're not covering your basic domestic.
You're not going to walk to the neighbor's house and walk their dog, and that's
get
$50, and that's not what we're talking about. This is long-term, at the very least 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But probably more like months. And we've done some house sits. Casa Pilon was a year.
Mm-hmm.
Most of them are 6 months.
Yeah, we've run Airbnbs. We've done it all.
So we're going to give you the whole lowdown exactly. If you want to do this so you can travel less expensively, it's a very good option. So let's get into it.
Okay, so how does house sitting work? There's differences between international and domestic house and pet sitting. And sometimes you don't even have pets for international house sitting.
Right, a lot of times you don't.
A lot of times you don't. So basically, international house sitting is for a lot of snowbirds, for example, and they come down for high season, and during low season, they need someone to watch their house and their pets, for whatever reason.
You are living in their house.
You're living in their house.
It's basically your house now for 6 months.
Yeah, it's your house. You're taking over their entire routine, their pet's routine, all of that.
Right, and there will be work involved. You're not just on vacation. That's something you got to be careful about.
Yeah, don't think of it as a perpetual vacation because you are working for what you get. You're living in a badass house. You're gonna be working for it.
And it should be a win-win for both the sitters and homeowners, and mostly for international house and pet sitting, there's no money exchanged.
No money exchanged. Usually the homeowner continues to pay for all of their pet supplies, house cleaning, any
utilities,
kind of gardening, any labor
cleaners.
There should be no money exchanged. Sometimes someone might want you to pay electricity if you're there for
like the summertime using all the AC. That is standard, but if their pets depend on the AC, that's up to them.
Yeah, and you can always say no.
So your typical responsibilities as an international house sitter, you're going to be taking care of the house and the pets.
Yeah, watering plants,
collecting their mail, like checking in with security, making sure they know you're there, there's nothing going on. You're not going to be rehabilitating a room or painting a house. You shouldn't be doing major chores.
Yeah, you should not be doing major chores. This is mostly just upkeep.
Right. And
making sure their pets are happy and healthy.
And played with and loved and treated like your pet.
Yeah.
But what it's not is an excuse to live somewhere for free while you're on vacation.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a good option for someone that is just going on vacation for 2 weeks and they just want a free place to stay, because it is real work.
And you can't be gone all day. I mean, if a pet can only be alone for 4 hours, that's as long as you're going to be out. I mean,
yeah.
So it's just, if you're on a vacation looking for a cheap accommodations, this is not the way to go.
And it's important to note too that you're taking over someone's actual, like, their routine. If the dog wakes up at 5 in the morning, normally you can't change their entire routine if you wake up at 9 a.m. So make sure you know what you're getting into with every sit.
So
Speaking of,
so for a checklist, like what's going to happen is you're going to probably do Zoom calls or emails and you'll have numerous communication with the owners before you even get there.
Right.
And some of the things you need to ask that could be deal breakers.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to want to find out about the pet care details, the walking. If you can't walk for an hour and they need your dog to, that's not for you.
I mean, we've had people request us to walk their dog 3 hours a day, 3 different times in, 100-degree heat, which
we're not going to do. We're not going to take it. If you don't feel comfortable giving shots to dogs or medications, or if there's a high need dog, if you're not comfortable with that, don't do it. What you want to do with your checklist when you're talking to them is, what do they expect maintenance wise?
Yeah. Cleaning expectations, mail and packages, security systems, gardening, plant care.
Right.
We stayed in a place that had a bunch of orchids one time, and I have no idea how to maintain orchids.
It was a very intricate garden, and they just said, please don't touch it.
Yeah.
And we didn't touch it.
We didn't touch it. Yeah, it was fine.
So on other checklists, you're going to know, like, first of all, the Wi-Fi, because you're probably working online.
Yeah, if you're working online, you definitely need to have good Wi-Fi.
Stable, good Wi-Fi. You're going to want to know where they are in relation to the town, because if you're moving somewhere, you probably don't have a car, and they're not going to give you there. So most likely they will not. We've had a motorcycle.
We've had a moto, yeah.
Okay, but you're going to want to know where it's at. Like, can you get to stores? Can you get drinking water?
Do you have access to their vehicle in a case of emergencies for the pets and whatnot?
Which we've had a lot.
Yeah, which we've had a lot.
And you want to know the exact dates they want you. Like, this is not an open-ended...
Right. You have to book tickets. They have to book tickets. You have to book travel. They have to book travel. So exact dates on arrival are a must. Sometimes we've had departure on our end postponed until they know when they're planning to come back. So
it's easier for us.
It's easier for us, yeah. Versus short-term house sits can vary. For us, short-term means nothing less than 2 weeks, but if we are in a place already and there's a 3-day house sit that saves us from booking a hotel, we might consider it, but usually we are long-term house sitters, so
minimum of a month.
Minimum of a month, and maybe up to 6 months, and sometimes even maybe extend it further to however long. So if it works for us.
Short term, we rarely do. A lot of times we have a lot of clients in Mexico City. So if we're in Mexico City, we'll say, we're here. If you need a few days off, we're here.
Yeah.
But we're not going to book a flight or a bus ticket or accommodations for a 1-week house sit. It's not worth it.
Yeah, it gets expensive after a while.
A lot of times these short-term sits are paid sits because you're not even staying there. You're just going to walk the dog. You're going to go check on the house. You may not even live in the house.
And even if you do live in the house, you probably already have another rental that you're paying for. So it's not saving you money, for example.
And that's the only reason, well, not the only reason, but that's one of the big reasons we do this, is to save money on accommodations.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. You get to live in some great houses for free.
Yeah, and we'll get into some of our house sits.
And dogs.
And puppies. And so, do house sitters get paid? So this is, again, international house sitting.
Yeah.
This is a whole different breed than if you are living in New York and you're sitting in somebody's house while they're on vacation for a week, or walking their dog for a week.
Yeah.
You will get paid for that. Long-term international house sitters don't get a penny.
Yeah.
And if you're expecting to, you're not going to find a sit.
Right. And you're even not really supposed to work internationally for most places. If you tell, for example, your immigration officer that you're there to house sit, they might not even let you in the country.
Right.
So tourism.
make sure up front you know this is an exchange of services, an exchange of accommodations
Right.
for sitting.
Yeah.
Don't get there and find out they expect you to pay electricity, or
Yeah.
get there thinking they're going to pay you a daily rate when they're not. Figure
Yeah.
that shit out up front
Yeah.
and get it over with. But chances are, for a long-term international house sitter, you're not getting anything.
Money does not change hands.
No, no. But what you do get is free accommodations in
Yeah.
some places. Like, we've lived in amazing homes for long-term beachfront houses.
and
Yep. You'll get the utilities probably paid for unless that's negotiated. A lot of times the electricity might be negotiated and
Yeah.
you're paying for it unless
Right.
their pets need it to live.
Right.
You're taking care of local experiences. You're getting to know this town
Yeah.
for free. You're living here, you're walking a pup, you're having fun. You're not going to get any money though.
Yeah,
So,
if you're considering moving to that town, house sitting is a perfect opportunity, especially like if you want to look at apartments while you're in town and this and that and the other, as long as it fits the schedule of the pets and the homeowners' regular routine.
right.
Finding house sits, where to look. There are a ton of popular platforms. We do not use any of these, but
None. We've never used a platform.
we've never used a platform ever, but I know a lot of people do. They use Trusted House Sitter, Nomador,
Mind My House.
Mind My
There's a
House.
Mexico one.
Yeah, and House
Carers, something
yeah.
like that. And they're all good, but when you get on these Facebook groups where these people are part of these platforms, they complain nonstop. Like,
Yeah.
you know, the homeowner may get 50 applications in a day and you'll never hear back. You won't know whether to apply for a new one. You know, it's just, you might apply for the one you really want
And never hear back.
And never
from
hear
them.
back. And you might be waiting a week to hear back. So
the competition is really stiff on those things.
on those sites, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
These homeowners get endless requests for their
the
your
ratio
service.
of houses to sitters.
It's skewed
It's
and not
very-
in our favor.
Yeah, not in the sitters' favor at all.
There are so many house sitters, but
If you're looking to list your house sit, try one of those sites for sure.
you'll be fine. But there are other places. There are Facebook groups that are specific to house sitting. There are just like referrals. There are friends. If you know somebody that lives in a town, just tell them you're going to that town. You know what I mean? So we find all of our sits, and we'll get into it in a little more detail, but just on Facebook. A lot of the times, our new pet sitters don't even know pet sitting is a thing.
Yeah, we've recently sat with some people that they didn't know, they wanted to take a vacation for a few years and didn't know that they could leave their pets with somebody.
Right, they were struggling to figure out how they're going to get their 3 large elderly pets taken care of on the road. And when they saw our post, they immediately jumped on it, and we stayed in a really cool place. So we'll get into that a little bit. Pitfalls, it's not all fun and games. There are
hurricanes. If you're there during low season, there's a reason it's considered low season. So you're probably going to be dealing with hurricanes, or at least lots of rain, or what is considered bad weather for that area. Yeah,
right.
Heat.
But you've got to ride through it. I mean, medical emergencies, dogs get sick, pets get sick. I mean, there are a lot of pitfalls. It is not all roses, you know.
We've had septic tank failures and
sick pets. We've had
pets
run off. I mean, where we have house sat, there are jaguars that will attack dogs, and we've had a dog run off for a day, and
we're
terrified that, you know, we spent the whole day searching for this dog only to come home and have it sitting on the patio waiting to be fed. So
thankfully.
I mean, there are all kinds of problems you can run into. It isn't an easy way to get around, but it is rewarding. So let's look at exactly what we do to find our pet sits. And we literally just did this yesterday because
we're looking for a house
sit. Our lease is up here, and we're trying to figure out our next move.
And we don't even know where we want to go, so we're going to try to use house sitting as a way to figure out where to go.
Determine our next spot. So we're in Mexico now. We're in Mazatlan. We don't want to be here any longer.
We don't want to be in Mazatlan.
We could very easily find a house sit here
Yeah.
but I don't care to be here any longer.
Right.
So the way we find that, and it works every single time, it has never not
Without
worked
fail, yeah.
for new clients. So we have a bunch of existing clients that call us whenever they need us, and we usually can make it, and we're there.
Yeah, and we'll ask them sometimes too before we.
Which we just did.
Yeah.
Which we told our Mexico City clients we'll be going through, and if they need us, and in 10 minutes we had a house sit for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
So yesterday, this is how we find every single one of our house sits. We discuss some places we'd like to go.
Yeah.
Different cities in Mexico we'd like to go. We then joined those Facebook expat groups.
Yes.
We introduced ourselves and told them we are long-term house sitters.
Yep, with references.
With references. We are going to be in your city for these dates.
Yes.
So on the platforms, all the house sitters know, all the homeowners know that house sitters exist.
Right.
On these expat groups, maybe half of them don't even know house sitters or pet sitters.
Or how it works.
Or even
like
that it's even a thing. So yesterday we narrowed it down to 5 or 6 cities.
We joined those Facebook groups.
Sent out an email, said, here we are, we'll be here, do you need us? Within an hour, we had 6 private messages asking for more details.
Mm-hmm.
And 2, now just in one day, we have 2 Zoom meetings next week that we're going to meet with these people.
With viable sits.
With viable sits. One of them is long-term, 6 months. He's a snowbird. He wants out of Morelos for the summer, and we're going to sit in his house, take care of his 2 pups, near the beach, free lodging for 6 months in a tourist destination that costs a lot of money to visit.
Yeah.
I love
Morelos.
I know. And another is an open-ended house sit for somebody that has to return, unfortunately, to Europe for medical treatment.
So
they don't know when they're going to be back. It could be a few months. It could be a year. They want us to just live in their house. There's no pets. They just want us to make sure nobody breaks into the house. If a water pipe breaks, we're there to fix it. Just look after the house.
Yeah.
So
light gardening.
This is how we found every new house sit for the past 13 years.
Yeah.
And it has never once failed.
Yeah.
Never once.
We'll do a video on that too.
Yeah, we'll do a video and show you the exact email we send, how we find it, how we know people are going to be receptive, because
the responses we get are just insane.
Yeah. So that's basically all of house and pet sitting internationally that you need to know. It is a job.
Yeah.
A very easy job. You're not going to get paid, but you're going to live in some really cool places.
Yeah, and
that you may not be able to afford. We can't afford to live on the beach in Nicaragua.
Right.
Or on the beach in the Caribbean where we live 6 months a year.
Yeah.
But it is very rewarding, and we suggest it. And if you're going to start, and if you're serious about it, we'll create a video and show you the emails or the Facebook posts that we craft.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Well,
all right.
Peace. Have a good one.